All right, Plan A to Plan B. Why did I switch? Already did one video for you guys explaining some problems with the Plan B system that I've encountered. I'll go over that shortly with some reasonings, pros and cons, things like that. The Griffin taper mount system is what I started my suppressor hub mount journey with. I have a lot of budget equipment. If you guys haven't noticed from a lot of the videos on this channel, I try and find great deals. I try and do things myself. I do a lot of DIY. I try and get the best deals possible whenever I purchase something. And for some reason or another, I got into the, actually I probably do know why, because they always have coupons, Griffin Armament taper mount suppressor lockup system, aka now is called the Plan A system. It's been around for a long time. It is a taper and thread with the taper behind the thread system, and you can see the carbon pattern here, how it does not go past the threads. This is a very good system, and I'm not upset that I started out with it. What's good about this system? Personally, I think that the biggest upside, and this is one of the problems I had with Plan B initially from the last video that I published a couple days ago, the biggest advantage to the Plan A system is that it is designed and pretty much only put out by Griffin. They make all their parts. So it's one company, and here's a different flash hider slash brake. This is something I pulled from a 14.5 pin-in weld that I had done, and I'll talk about these marks here in a second. Griffin makes all of these, so they control the tolerances, right? There's not 6 different brands with 6 different QC and tolerance specs creating a similar part. Since they're all coming from Griffin, with a side note, except for one company making taper mounts, it's pretty much always going to work. There is no difference in the way that they machine things. So that is a huge plus. One company, again, pretty much, except for Echo Machine. Echo Machine makes these. I mentioned it in the last video. I think Echo Machine is the only other company making Griffin Plan A parts. They're a very good machine shop, so you don't have to worry about anything. But the Griffin Plan A system, they have a lot of flash hiders, they have a lot of brakes, there's a lot of variety, but it's only coming from one company. There's just not quite a lot of variety, and sort of like the HD DVD versus a Blu-ray battle back in the day where Blu-ray kind of won out, the Plan A system was really never adopted by anyone else or any other manufacturers. It's only used by Griffin for their taper mount system, but can be used on hub cans. It has worked really well for me. And you can see here I made some marks. I actually picked this up on Reddit while reading. Some dude that was doing suppressor mount testing, and you can see here, my pin and welding skills aren't too great. A guy that was doing suppressor mount testing made some marks on the flash hiders and brakes that he was testing out to see how good the lockup was. Well, I did that on these and the Plan Bs, which I'll go into in a second. And you can see here that there's a nice even, besides that one, that doesn't count, a nice even wear on the lockup. And this one has it as well. A little bit towards the edge, but a nice even lockup nonetheless. So these are all great. What's a drawback of this system? Again, only one company making the parts. They don't really have much in variety. They have about a dozen. There's a bunch of different options, but not too many, and not much innovation in the mounting system going on. A usability drawback for me is the fact that they have the threads before the taper. And as you can see here, you start getting carbon from shooting into the threads. This to me could pose a potential lockup issue that the Plan B system does not have, because the Plan B is taper before the threads. So your carbon will stop here if it has a good seal, and your threads will never be gunked up with carbon from shooting. So that's the Griffin Plan A system. I switched away from that, along with the fact that since so many companies have adopted the Plan B, aka Q Plan B, It stemmed from the plan, the company Q making the Plan B system for their rifles, I guess, and their suppressors, and it was adopted by the industry as the popular option. So I moved over to Plan B. There are just so many different brakes and flash hiders and different things available. It's pretty crazy what's out there. Like, this is a recessed flash hider. It goes onto the barrel. My barrel is actually right here where the threads are, kind of making this look shorter. Griffin does not offer anything like that. There are all kinds of taper mounts, including ones that reduce back pressure. There are recessed, so I can go even further close to the front sight base here if I wanted to. There is so much available for the Plan B system. It's kind of crazy not to adopt it at this point. So that's what I did. I moved from Plan A to Plan B, but it was not without issues. In the video I posted again a couple days ago, I went over how I was having a concentricity problem with the adapter that I had received initially in my first shipment of, hodgepodge of Plan B parts, Wolfpack Armory, Caw Valley. This is now a Wolfpack Armory. You can see low profile Plan B hub. The other one that I received in my order, not from this company, I'm not going to name the company directly to give them a chance to fix it for someone else, but I just returned the product. I didn't kind of have to worry about returning it to the manufacturer, so I didn't want to deal with that. I knew it was defective. It went back to the place I purchased it from. This mount here is now solving the problem. So if anyone wanted an update from the last video, it was the adapter, and I'll go ahead and show you guys that right now. So we talked about lockup. We talked about lockup and sealing on these Plan A adapters. So actually, before I grab this, let me show you guys. We'll get it to zoom. We'll get it to zoom properly. So nice even wear, nice even wear, nice even wear, nice even wear. And my arm is torqued here, but nice even wear on that one. Okay, so you can see all the way around the adapter is now locking up. So we have our alignment rod. We have our suppressor, and if the magic happens properly, we will see that in comparison to the last video that I had shown on YouTube where this guide rod was touching this blue mark, the blue mark is in the exact same spot. Now there is, and I'm going to rotate this the best I can with a vertical grip and red dot hitting me in the arm. That is now right down the middle. And it is not touching any of the baffles. So that's awesome. And that confirms all the measurements and all the fancy stuff and all the science that I was doing in that, not really science, just measurements in that last video. So I did have a problem with the Plan B system, but it was fixed by getting a new low profile hub adapter that initially was out of spec. And you can see here, this is just a raw heat treat version. So the conversion, my conversion journey, my journey to Plan B was not without issue at first. I did not have those issues with the Griffin system. Again, even with the one manufacturer making mounts for Griffin, there was no tolerance issues in their Plan A system when I used it. Everything was always concentric. The guide rods, the bore guide rods, the alignment rods were always right down the middle. Mixing manufacturers, you're always bound to run into potential issues like that. Again, as I said in other videos, I highly recommend these suppressor alignment rods. You should always check the concentricity of your barrel if you have not had it custom chopped by a reputable shop. This one here was done by Adco. We know they make really good cuts on their barrels. They check the concentricity. This is a stock barrel from Ballistic Advantage, and it happens to be one of the ones that is in spec. Obviously, I've checked it. It's known good. So far, really liking the options of the Plan B system. The things that are out there, the innovation that's out there for the Plan B system is just insane. There is so much going for the Plan B system, and I think manufacturers will continue to release really cool parts for it that I'm looking forward to. But for right now, being able to use shorty brakes, long brakes, recessed flash hiders, combo brakes, things like that, even though I don't love brakes too much, this is a 9mm build, I think that I'm gonna have a much better time here with the Plan B system. Granted, I always check my parts. Granted, you guys always check your parts, and never take for granted that manufacturers are making things in spec with each other. Always check. That's kind of my ending thought here on that. So that's pretty much it for Plan A to Plan B. Again, the update that this system is now working fine, a little bit of validation that it was the hub adapter. I was really happy to see that I had figured that one out properly, and the new one is working fine. So if anyone has any questions, let me know, and I hope this helps someone out in the future.